Arsenal beat Newcastle in extra time. Late winner from the Gunners. Come on. Wow, Waka, welcome back to the channel. I've been a bit under the weather for the last week, so I didn't have a Carabao Cup match reaction. The game wasn't that interesting, so there wasn't much that I could say about it. It was nice for SA to score his first goal. Other than that, the game was really boring. We went through on to the next round. But when it comes to today, oh my God, man, my blood was boiling. Early on, we started great. Great 20-minute spell from us. Hit the post. Uh, two saves from Nick Pope when it comes to shots from Eze. And we were dominant, but like most of our games in the Arteta era, for the at least for the last 2 years, we just don't capitalize on our dominance. We do great job, and then we end up conceding a goal. When it comes to the first 20 minutes, you could tell SA in the 10, it did work. He was doing some things here and there. He was getting into goal scoring positions, finishing. Wasn't the best because even though I think Nick Pope did a great job, the shots were never really way into the corner. They were just within reach. So could have been better. When it comes to Trossard, hits the post. Unfortunate, but even with him, you will say he needed to do better. Gyökeres, he didn't really get into this game that much. He had some great touches in the beginning, but when it comes to him scoring a goal, he had a couple of half chances here and there, moments in the second half. I think he slipped and he just mishit it, or it hit Martinelli. I don't even know what happened. But overall, all we were doing was having him get into aerial duels and trying to beat them like that. But that's not his strength. We really need to start using him in his strength. That's our problem. I really don't get it. We have this amazing striker, and then we are using him like it's Havertz on top or some other tall player. No, he is a striker who wants to get in behind. We need to use that more. He's gonna have a lot of these type of games if we keep using him like this, and he's not gonna be the Jokeres that we know that won the Gerd Muller award earlier this week because he scored that many goals. He's not gonna do that with us if we are using him like this. Other than that, Saka wasn't at his all-time best. He wasn't really doing the things that we want to see from him. He had one shot, but it was blocked. Yeah, I do understand why he got taken off because it wasn't as if he was lighting it up and Ateta subbed him off. He was just okay at best. Trossard, I think he should have been subbed off earlier in the game, but hey, at the end of the day, we have a 2-1 win. Marino came on as a great sub. Again, we need substitutions to start scoring. He does a great job with the head. And then Gabriel makes up from his mistake for the first goal because I do think it's a Gabriel mistake. He is one of the strongest players in our team and he goes down that easily. That should never happen. Mosquera, I feel like it's a bit harsh for him to be subbed off at halftime, but he didn't have the best game. He had a couple of mishit passes, and one of them was the one that led to the corner that we could see it from. So I think it's harsh to take him off, but I hope that he can just keep his head up high, understand that this was one of his weaker games, and he did great in the other ones. So hopefully it doesn't affect him as much. We did see it with Arteta earlier when he took off Nuntafaj, and he didn't really recover from that. Hopefully Mosquera has a better mentality and a stronger will to succeed. Other than that, yeah, Newcastle just did their thing. They were annoying. They were bullying us. They took their chance. Voltemade had another chance, but it was offside, so it didn't really matter that he missed that one. But yeah, it's just always tough for us at Newcastle. And if we just scored that early goal, it would probably been a easier match for us. It would have been more open from their side, and we could have put Jokeres in behind a lot more. But yeah, I'm just happy that we win this game because after Liverpool dropped points, we really needed to beat Newcastle. I mean, our boy Eddie Nketiah, he called us. He was like, "Hey, do you want to get 3 points?" And yeah, here we are, man. 2 points behind Liverpool. A much better weekend for us with only Man City being the other top team winning. Chelsea lost, Man U lost, Tottenham drew. If it was the Wolves that scored late on, I would have been happier with the Tottenham draw. But in this case, it was Tottenham saving a point instead of losing two. So I don't really like that. But yeah, it was overall a good weekend point wise for us. Just our general play needs to be a lot better, man. So far, we are 6 games in, and only against Leeds did we look good after we scored a couple of goals. But in general, we just need to be a lot better. We finally have a great squad, and I would much rather see us play like 22, 23 again with free flowing football. Maybe we would concede a bit more goals, but we would score a lot more and maybe bury some of these games earlier. It was great for us to get those 3 points. We have Olympiacos coming up next on Wednesday. We need to keep winning in the Champions League, get into those top spots so we can get most of our preferred games in the knockout stages. Olympiacos should be a team that we can beat and maybe even put to the sword. Hopefully, we can get Eze and Jokeres on the scoreboard. Other than that, all I have to say is come on, Arsenal, a late winner. I love it. I love it so much. I really gave up hope, man. It's just the same as last season with Newcastle scoring from a header early on in the game, and we can't do anything back. But lucky for us, this season we have a much better squad, and we have players coming off the bench and delivering. And yeah, with Gabriel, he just had a point to prove. After the weak defending, he really needed to set it straight, and he did. Almost forgot the referee, man. Come on. VAR is so bad here, man. I mean, I get it that maybe you don't want to give a penalty for that because maybe his big toe slightly touched the ball. But my problem is Jokeres does get taken down, even with Pope hitting the hitting the ball. Saka gets the ball, but the referee whistles for a penalty, so he stops the play. And then you give a drop ball to Newcastle, even though we were in their 18-yard box on the ball with Pope on the ground. How can you make so many mistakes back to back to back? That is so horrible. We really need to see better from PAR and the referees in England, but the problem is we've seen this for every season so far since VAR has been implemented. A lot of weird mistakes. Pope doesn't get a penalty against him because he slightly touches the ball. Saliba touches the ball against Brighton last season, and then the head clash with him and Sao Pedro, and it's a penalty, even though he touched the ball more. in that game than Pope did now, but somehow this was not a penalty and that was. I don't really get it anymore, man. It's just so weird that these referees are getting away with murder, even, man, because these things just change games. You could see that after that, Newcastle got back into the game, and that's when Arsenal really lost it. Lucky for us that in the end, it didn't affect us when it comes to the points total, but it did make the match harder for us. I do also feel like we need to have a better mentality. I get that it's annoying with the refs screwing us over in that moment, but we need to do better and just recover from it, show that we were on the right path, and just use that to win that game. That's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.